It was the early hours of June 6, 1944, as the largest invasion fleet in history crept silently towards the coast of Normandy. The skies over occupied France were already roaring. Just minutes past midnight, a daring, crucial, and profoundly dangerous operation began: the Airborne assault. This is the story of the first hours of D-Day, a story of courage, planned chaos, and an unprecedented logistical feat. In the next few minutes, we'll dive into the epic night jump of the U.S. 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions and the British 6th Airborne Division, a mission where success didn't depend on landing on the exact spot, but on sowing absolute confusion behind enemy lines.
The overall plan for Operation Overlord was clear: establish a beachhead in Normandy. To protect the flanks of the troops landing on the beaches at dawn, it was vital to seize and hold the roads, bridges, and exits from the coastline. The western flank, facing Utah Beach, was dominated by flooded terrain with only a few raised causeways. Whoever controlled these exits would control the flow of German reinforcements. Supreme Commander General Dwight D. Eisenhower entrusted this vital task to his paratroopers and glider troops. The mission of the 101st Airborne Division, the Screaming Eagles, was to capture the 4 exits from Utah Beach and destroy coastal artillery batteries. To their right, the 82nd All-American Division was to take the key town of Sainte-Mère-Église and the bridges over the Merdere River. On the eastern flank, the British Red Devils had an equally critical objective: to capture and hold intact the bridges over the Orne River and the Caen Canal, including the now famous Pegasus Bridge. Eisenhower, acutely aware of the terrible risks, spent the eve of the invasion with the men of the 101st. In his pocket, he carried an unused statement accepting full responsibility should the operation fail.
At 0015 hours on the 6th, the first Pathfinders, men trained to mark the drop zones, jumped into the total darkness over Normandy. Next came the Great Stream. Over 800 C-47 Dakota aircraft, carrying some 13,000 American paratroopers, encountered an unexpected barrier: a dense ground fog with up to 10/10 coverage and German anti-aircraft fire, flak, far more intense than predicted. Pilots, evading the fire, maneuvered violently, breaking formation. Navigation became a nightmare. The result was colossal dispersion. Instead of landing in cohesive groups, the paratroopers were scattered across more than 40 square miles of the Cotentin Peninsula. General Maxwell Taylor, commander of the 101st, found himself alone in the dark, initially gathering only a handful of men. Only a fraction of the units landed in their designated zones.
Corporal Lester Leno of the 101st described the moment. "We jumped at just 400 feet. I barely had time to feel the panic of the jump before I was on the ground. I had no idea where I was. The only sound was cowbells ringing everywhere." Those bells, hung by the Germans on fences, were a surreal alarm. In Sainte-Mère-Église, a house fire lit up the sky, turning the drop zone into a perfect target. Paratroopers of the 82nd's 505th Regiment were shot before they even hit the ground. Private John Steele became famous when his parachute snagged on the church steeple, where he hung for hours playing dead. But in one of the first positive successes of the night for American forces, a small group led by Lieutenant Colonel Edward Krauss attacked the town. By 0430 hours, Sainte-Mère-Église became the first French town liberated in the invasion, a swift and decisive victory. Meanwhile, the Horsa and Waco gliders, towed by C-47s, began their dangerous landing approaches. Landing at night in tiny, unmarked fields was an act of pure courage. Many crashed into the thick bocage hedgerows or the Rommel's asparagus poles, placed to destroy them. Despite the losses, they brought in essential light artillery, jeeps, and commanders. On the eastern flank, the British operation proved to be a spectacular and surgical success.
Aboard Horsa gliders, men of Major John Howard's 2nd Battalion, Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry, landed just 50 yards from Pegasus Bridge at 0016 hours. In a lightning 10-minute assault, they took the objective intact. The famous radio message, "Ham and Jam," confirmed the success. This feat ensured the Allied eastern flank would not be counterattacked by tanks from that direction.
So what was the real impact of this night of chaos? Although the dispersion was massive, it paradoxically deeply confused the German command. Confused and contradictory reports of paratroopers scattered all over Normandy made the Germans believe the attack was much larger and more widespread than it actually was. This drastically delayed their coordinated response. Small groups of screaming eagles, formed by men from different companies, improvised and attacked German positions, often achieving their secondary objectives in unconventional ways. The cost was high. In the first 24 hours, the American airborne divisions suffered approximately 2,500 casualties, but they created the necessary chaos.
As the first light of dawn began to illuminate the Normandy coast, the paratroopers, now transformed into elite infantry, were holding firm. They had isolated Utah and Sword beaches, captured critical points, and disorganized the German defense at its deepest level. The success of the airborne assault, born in the chaos of night, was a fundamental pillar for what was to come. But the night of trials for the Allies was far from over. As the paratroopers consolidated their isolated positions, a new and formidable force was approaching in the English Channel. In our next narrative in this chronological series, we will cover the monumental challenge of the amphibious landings. We will witness courage under fire on the beaches of Omaha, precision at Utah, and the fierce fight of the British and Canadians at Gold, Juno, and Sword. D-Day was just beginning.
This audio documentary is based on official U.S. Army after-action reports, diaries of veterans from the 101st and 82nd Airborne Divisions, historians such as Stephen E. Ambrose, D-Day, and the historical archive of the Imperial War Museum. We remember the sacrifice of those who jumped into the darkness to bring the light of freedom. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed diving into that secret D-Day mission with me. Knowing these details is what brings history to life, right? But listen, if you're a fan of real history, documented facts, and war strategies that seem like they're straight out of a movie, you can't miss what's coming next. Show some love to the channel here, all right? Hit that subscribe button. It's free and it's the biggest support you can give. Every subscriber shows me you want more content like this. Turn on the notification bell because I don't want you to miss the next videos. I post new content every week, and sometimes YouTube just doesn't show it to everyone. With the bell on, you'll be the first to know. Leave a like on this video. It really helps spread the word and shows you want more stories in this style. And speaking of which, drop a comment below. What part surprised you the most? Is there a specific operation or battle you want to see covered here on the channel? I read every comment and love connecting with you all. Stay tuned because the D-Day saga continues. In the next videos, we'll cover the beach landings, the fierce German resistance, and the unsung heroes who changed the course of the war, all based on official reports, diaries, and real facts. This is just the beginning. There's so much more history on the way. Thanks for watching, for your support, and for your interest. Remember, subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a like. Until the next video, take care.